Let me tell you about Becoming Karl Lagerfeld, which is streaming today on Disney Plus. It's a remarkable piece of TV, and it's largely down to the main man, the actor Daniel Bruhl, who I'm really, really happy to meet and see today. Daniel, welcome to the top of the tower.
Such a pleasure. Thanks
Nice
for having
to see
me.
you. You know what? In the 2 minutes you have before an interview begins, you just say, nice to see you, and how are you getting on? And we covered quite a lot in those 2 minutes. And one of the favorite things we got was that we both have how many children do you have?
3 now.
Three.
But
we both have kids we're looking forward to seeing later on.
Yes.
You're going back to
Mallorca.
Okay, so tell me about the kids. You've got, how old are they?
2 boys, 7 and 3, and we moved to Spain. I'm half Spanish, half German.
Yeah.
So after all those years and decades in a big metropolis like Berlin, I thought, let's go to the countryside. So now we're living with sheep and donkeys. So for kids, it's absolute paradise, and for me as well.
And how is it for you? Because that's replacing the urban with the rural. I mean, it's a big leap. How was it?
Well, I reached that age now, 46 in a couple of days, where I just need more tranquility, peace, and beauty in my life. I've had enough of grey German skies and faces, so I need a bit of life, And it's also it's my second half, it's my other half. I mean, I was born in Barcelona, but mainly raised in Germany, so I thought it's half time now. I'm 45, so why not, spend more time in Spain?
I love that. It's like another chapter opening in the book of life, and that's a beautiful place to be. I'm echoing what you're saying, and this is your last interview, isn't it, in this tour?
Pretty much. It's been 2 weeks, very intense, but it's always nice. I mean, it's terrible when you're doing a promo tour and you think like the people don't like it, I don't like it. Yeah. But in this case, I'm really proud of the show. I think it's a wonderful show, and so it was wonderful to see all the positive response in all these European places. But I feel kind of started feeling like Karl Lagerfeld myself, like a globetrotter, always on planes and being in different cities.
And if I may say so, because for those who aren't watching this, how dapper you look. I mean, the first thing I spotted was your brown ensemble, which you said, I said, is it linen? You said, Xenia.
Grazie. Yeah. No.
So, no, you're remarkable. So, were you fashionable anyway, or did this come with being around all of that?
I kind of grew into that. I mean, as actors, you sooner or later get in touch with fashion. When I look at the first pictures of myself standing on red carpets 20 years ago, I would have needed a stylist by my side. But then I met indeed these guys, the Italians. Alessandro Sartori is a famous, great fashion designer. So he, made me learn and understand more about fashion.
It's working. You look great.
Thank you.
Tell me about the TV show. For people who haven't watched it, I was fortunate enough to watch some of it, and congratulations.
It's about the beginnings of a very iconic and famous and fascinating man in fashion history, Karl Lagerfeld. One of the most multifaceted and iconic man in that world, and the series discovers who that man was before he became that persona that we all think of when we think of Karl Lagerfeld. Similar to Andy Warhol, he had protected himself. He had created that armor, these shields, that weird outfit, the white hair, the shades, the gloves. So I wanted to know who was that man, what happened in his life that he became that persona. And I only met him once 20 years ago, but I had met, the character, not the real.
I love that description, because that's what this show does. It gets under the under the armor, as you call it. And I was intrigued. One of the things we talked about when we had that 2-minute brief chat before the show, before you came in, was that I went to see John Lennon, the listening to the album of John Lennon, Mind Games, in Abbey Road Studios last night, and I was listening to it. The voice was that echoey John Lennon thing, and the engineer was talking about it, and he said he loved the echo on it because he was insecure about his voice.
Oh wow!
And that was his armor.
Yeah.
And
interesting,
isn't it? And that's the point I'm making, is that Karl Lagerfeld, you would think he looked so confident.
Yeah.
And yet the armor.
Yes, exactly. But I wanted, and also I learned so much about him that I did not know. I wasn't aware of what a huge romantic soul he was. He was a very, very, romantic man, and I wanted to show the fragility and the vulnerability and the insecurity. I mean, he went out there to conquer Paris in the 70s as a German kid at the time, not very attractive, to be a German in Paris, and trying to compete with these gods like Yves Saint Laurent. And this is always something that I enjoy, which is a big part of the show as well, is that Mozart Salieri kind of competition with someone you love but hate, that you respect but you're jealous and envy. So there's all of that, but then there's also a very compelling and very moving love story, also something that I didn't know anything about. So Karl Lagerfeld had a big love of his life, Jacques de Bacher, in this show, and to go into that, and for the first time play such an intense love story with another man is also something that I hadn't done before, and I very much enjoyed, that experience, because this very talented, incredible young Canadian actor, Théodore Pellerin, made it so easy for me to believe this love story, and we reached some moments of utter beauty and truth.
Yes.
And
the French was beautiful. I noticed you're getting kind of a little emotional talking about that.
Yeah,
why is
I
that?
do. Thank you. Oh,
I do, because you went somewhere else. As you were
and
talking.
that's the reason why I love this job so much. When I think of this guy, it's these seconds of ultimate truth that give me the kick to continue this for another 10 years. Sometimes only seconds.
Yeah.
But when you really think this is happening, there's no pretension, there's no acting anymore, there's no fake. It reached a point in which I called my wife and said, honey, I'm in love now with a man. And she said, oh, I find him also cool, so let's have an open relationship.
There's a phone call she wasn't expecting. And how are the kids? Oh, great. Children, I have to tell you something about your father. Yeah. I'm just off the phone to Dad. We're going to have a new visitor joining us next week. The lovely surprises you learn, self-revelations. But it is, I mean, this is the beauty of the art, and when art moves you, and even you as an actor for becoming Karl Lagerfeld to move you like that. I was thinking of that film you were in, Joyeux Noël, which I think is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen.
Oh well, thank you.
I really did, because if you marry that to All Quiet on the Western Front,
yes,
honest to goodness,
thank you.
I think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're very proud because we produced it, out of Berlin with it's my production company. So it was even surprising to us the amount of success that it had. I mean, we knew that we had done something special and a good film, but it was a game changer for us as a small boutique Berlin-based.
Can we
company.
talk about it for a moment? Because
if you want to,
the book is a work of art originally. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Then it was made into
the film,
black and white film. Then there was a color film, and then your film, which brought it to somewhere else. It was probably the film of the year for me that year. I thought it was visceral. I thought it was cruel. I thought I could smell stuff off the screen. It was so good. And for Germans to make such a film became a part of the conversation as well, because there was a whole reckoning going on. Yeah,
it kind of was a no-brainer when my production partner one day, when he called me and said, Daniel, I have a script in English, but I'm now just thinking the most famous and most read book in history is All Quiet on the Western Front, a German book that has never been adapted in German in a film. And I said, hold on, it was a famous film from the 30s, then there was another adaptation, but it's true, it's never been done. So that was the starting point, that we translated that script into German and then worked on it, but wanted to give that German perspective. And I was lucky and happy to be in that one storyline that is also not in the actual book. So to be bold and also take that holy material and to dare to add something is, I find, always interesting, because it takes courage to do that, and to not stick to, because there is another film, there is the book, but what happens if we open another storyline and you add something more to it?
It's respect. It's about respecting the material.
Exactly.
Can I go back to the John Lennon thing again? Only because we were sitting there and his son Sean Lennon wasn't there, but he was involved in the piece, and there was one song they played for us, and they said, the egg with that rattles
Yes.
like a percussion instrument, and it was really annoying them. And they said to Sean Lennon, "Do you mind if we get rid of it?" He said, "It's irritating. Get rid of it, but respect the song." So what you did was you added to the book, if you like.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Respected the story.
Yes. But how lucky were you?
No.
Yes, no.
I'm
I
happy
have
to be here with you today. I was just using it as an
I was
example.
listening to a song because I shot a show here earlier this year. I just wrapped it up a couple of weeks ago, and I spent so much time in Primrose Hill. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
And I listened to that song, which is very sweet. No, the son of
James McCartney.
James McCartney. Yeah,
it's very cute.
Yeah,
and I think he
listened
wrote
to
it
yesterday.
Yeah, with Sean Lennon. Will
Yeah.
you stick around for a couple more minutes? I wanted to ask you about how many languages do you speak fluently,
4 to 5.
and how many do you speak non-fluently, or just a little bit of?
No, the ones that I understand well is Italian, Portuguese a little bit, but
Catalan.
Catalan is a language I speak.
Spanish.
Yeah. Spanish, French, English, and German. But it's it's because my family is a mix. So my father was married to a Spanish lady, Marisa, and my 2 German uncles, Hein and Hartmut, were married to Françoise from Paris and Toulouse. So we all grew up together. So it was always a mix.
You're the United Nations in a smart suit. Okay. We were chatting away during the music there about many things, but when you came in first, you sat down and you said, "Oh." Straight away, you said, "Where in Ireland are you from? How did you spot that?" I mean, I might not know it's with an accent, but honest to goodness.
Yeah, I'm a bit nerdy when it comes to languages and accents. I just love it, and as an actor, it's such an important tool because the language reflects so much of who you are. Why do we express ourselves, and what are the strengths and weaknesses of each language? My father told me that great quote from the 16th century of Karl V, who was, a king of Spain, but also emperor of Austria at the same time, and he spoke all these languages. And he said, "To God I speak in Spanish, to my mistress I speak in French, and to my horse I speak in German." It's funny, eh? 16th century. There's still something about it.
Daniel, nothing changes.
Yeah,
tout ça change. Isn't that what they say?
Ganz genau.
Yeah. Okay. Congratulations on becoming Karl Lagerfeld. It is a remarkable project. Clearly, you can see that you love it. I love the way how passionate you talk about it. It starts tonight. It drops on to Disney Plus, so people can watch it. They will enjoy the glamour, the glitz. It reminds me of talking to a famous Irish historian at a book festival once, and he said, "I know a lot of poets," and I said, "Yes." And the thing about poets, he says, they fight like dogs. And I said, "Why?" He said, "I think it's because the stakes are so low." Good point.
I
think sometimes
brilliant.
in the world the stakes are so low, and yet people get very head up about a design of a suit or whatever it might be. But I'm delighted for you, and you're going to be heading off to Mallorca later on to the loving arms of your family. So enjoy yourself, and congratulations. 4-star review in from The Guardian, which is the equivalent of 55,000 stars. Well done. Dan, it's been lovely seeing you.
Sláinte.
Well, oh my goodness. Adios. Auf Wiedersehen. And Dankeschön. Okay, very good.
Radio.